right, Darren Crile from CCA. It's good to have you here, my friend.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
All right, so what is CCA? For people who are sitting out there, they don't know what CCA is. What is it?
The CCA is the Coastal Conservation Association. We are advocates for the rights of fishing, try to keep kids on the water, keep us on the water, keep fishing. We do a lot of fundraising. We're a membership-driven base.
Yes.
And the $40 a year for the membership goes a very long way.
Yes, good. All right, so the idea is to keep fishing open. Well, so, I mean, who's trying to close down fishing? Is there a problem out there?
There's a huge
Is there something
problem
called the 30-30 that's
30 by 30.
What is that?
I'm going to say about 2 years ago, it started out as AB 3030,
Yes.
the Assembly bill. And
Right.
we as the CCA were able to defeat that. Our good friend Gavin Newsom didn't like that he didn't get his way, so he stomped his feet and decided he's going to try and make this an executive order along with the California Natural Resources Agency. And they're out there, they're pushing information that is not so correct, I guess you could say. And we started our campaign, and 2 days later, we were asked to take ours down.
Oh, wow.
So we know we've triggered some feelings on their side.
Yes.
And I believe that I know that all our information is 100% accurate.
All right, so we're going to close down, if they get their way, another 30% of the coastline. Is that right?
Another
or?
16%. They already have 14% with the MPAs that are involved now.
Yeah, okay.
So add another 16% to that, that's going to make 30%.
Yeah, and who this affects more than anything, I think this is a pretty regressive type law because I feel like it affects the common man more than it affects somebody that's got money. They can fly down to Costa Rica or go
Correct.
to Panama, or they have access to the water. But somebody on a fixed budget, they're really going to be impacted by this.
Yes, correct. The underprivileged communities are going to be affected by it.
Right.
Our kids are going to be affected by it. Like I said, we've already got 14% that's closed down. So if you're just the average boat owner, and you want to take the kids fishing, you get caught in one of these spots because they're not marked in any way. You don't know where you're going. You get caught fishing in there, you're going to pay a fine for it.
Yeah.
And nobody knows. A common boater doesn't know right where they're at. And this 30 by 30 isn't just coming after our coastal waters. They're coming after public land also. So if you're a mountain biker, hiker, camper, freshwater fisherman, we're looking at losing 30% of our land too.
Yeah, a lot of that's going on. Down in Mexico, Guadalupe Island was just closed, and the reason behind the closure is because fishing there has an adverse effect on the behavior of white sharks. I can make that argument about anything.
Yes.
I can make that argument about building a road. I can make that argument about going whale watching.
Correct.
It has some impact out there. However, the benefits to humanity and children far outweigh, some
Yes.
great white shark getting a number 4 hook caught in its mouth for 30
Right.
seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how I feel about it. And I'll give you my Teddy Roosevelt speech here now, who set aside all the national parks. And when Teddy Roosevelt did that, he didn't say, let's set aside these national parks and then nobody can ever go near them again. He didn't say that. He said, let's set them aside so the common man can go and bond with nature. Because Teddy Roosevelt, as a young man, was a frail, sickly kid who went to Wyoming and spent a summer chopping wood and hunting and fishing.
Yep.
And he came out of that being a robust, strong guy. And he credits that experience to him becoming president of the United States of America.
That's right. And 30 by 30 is just a stepping stone for this. They want to do 50 by 50. That's 50% of all land and water by 2050. That's not that far away.
Right, and part of the problem is if you go to grandma, some grandma, and you say, hey, we're thinking about shutting down 30% of the coastline, and it's going to help the marine animals, and grandma's like, yeah, that sounds like a good
Right.
idea. You got to dig in just a little bit deeper and understand that you're taking this experience. Kevin was just here talking about the positive experience it had on his life and on other kids, and that's getting slowly but surely chipped away.
Yep. And they don't want to talk about the sewage runoff. They don't want to talk about any of that. They want to talk about how the sport fisherman, the outdoorsman, is the one ruining everything, and it's not us. We are the original conservationists.
Man, what a surprise that politicians would be self-interested and be looking for votes instead of trying to do what's right.
And a lot of people, they got to realize there's a difference between conservation and preservation. A true sign of preservation are these California wildland fires. If you're not in there to maintain the forest, that's what we get. And same thing, they don't let us maintain the ocean, it's going to get bad. But they want to preserve it and not conserve it.
You said you weren't going to be politically correct. I was ready for you to just start breathing fire and brimstone up here.
Well, if Wayne Cotto got a hold of that one, then I'd probably have my butt in a sling.
So what can people do besides joining CCA? I was in Mexico recently for a meeting down there with some government guys, and I grabbed a couple of the Mexican pangueros, fishermen down there I know, and I go, hey, you guys, you know what we should do? We should form this alliance where you guys are cleaning the beaches in Ensenada this Saturday.
Right.
We're doing Newport Beach. Somebody else is up in Oregon, and just paint this picture of fishermen doing good deeds in the environment, being stewards of the sea, of everything that goes along with it. And I think that's something that everybody can do out there, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect example. Being a steward of the sea is perfect. There's a lot of things going on. People, they'll do cleanup days, like you're saying. If you see a Mylar balloon floating around the ocean, pull it out, grab your gaff and get it out of there. But the main thing, membership through us goes a very long way. Like I said, we are a membership-based driven association, and we encourage all our members to get involved with their chapters, with their boards, and let their voice be heard. We might, as a board member, we might be overlooking something that you want to see have brought to attention, and we don't know unless you bring it up to us.
So can they sign up today with you? Can people sign up? CCA
we can sign up
you?
today. Yep, and your membership or your chapter would be dependent on where you live. We've got 8 chapters in the state right now, ranging from San Diego all the way up to Channel Islands, which I believe Kevin is a member of the Channel Islands CCA. And we're pretty young here in the state as an organization, and to already have 8 members or 8 chapters is pretty good. So we are from Florida, Louisiana, Texas, anywhere there's a coastline, we've got chapters.
And Darren, for people who are going to listen to the podcast in the future, is there a website they can go to and sign up by doing that?
CCA.org. You can sign up there. We also have a podcast for the CCA that myself and Chris Richadera do, and then we also have our own personal podcast called Doc Talk. And on the CCA podcast, we talk about more of the stuff like 30 by 30 and what's happening around the fishing community, not just fishing itself. And then on Doc Talk, we talk about fishing.
And those are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts,
Spotify, anywhere you can find your favorite podcast at.
All right, perfect. Anything else, Darren?
No, I think we're good.
All right, man. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And here comes my son, Philip, who I will interview in a few moments. And I am going to hit him with some questions. They're going to curl his beard. Let me tell you.